everybody, it's Masterath here, and welcome to, well, the second week of the 2022 Global Trophy. I'm joined alongside
Sam Elliott 64, and yes, we are heading over to Asia for the Asia Preliminary League. Another 16 teams, or 15 if we're being brutally honest, going to fight it out to see if they can qualify for the Asian qualifying section to qualify for the Global Trophy overall.
That is no way to dumb down the glorious dud team.
Sorry.
Shame on you.
They are legitimate and real
wages.
competitors.
Deduct that from your wages.
I don't get paid for this.
Shh.
Okay.
Tell the government.
Sorry. I mean, yes, Chris, deduct it from my wages. Yes.
Yes.
Let's move
Cool.
on. Let's move on.
So, the Asian Preliminaries, just like last week with the European Preliminaries, it will be 16 teams, tops 8 go through to the Asian Qualifiers, but only 7 will actually be able to compete. The 8th will be the dud team, so again, gotta be in that top 8.
Top 7.
But specifically, you want to be in the top
Yeah.
7, also I'm on the wrong bit.
Of course.
Go!
It's just Asia as well, of course, competing in this. We have the teams from Oceania as well, which, of course, a few years ago we merged the Asia and Oceania leagues, or qualifiers, to encompass each other, and therefore allow 8 teams from each section to qualify for the Global Trophy proper at the end of the competition. So, yes, we have Oceania teams here as well. There aren't many Oceania teams, but there's quite a few in the preliminaries rather than the actual qualifiers themselves.
Ah, yes, when all the continents actually had the right number of teams, equal number of teams joining for the Global Trophy finals, yes. The moment when my lovely dictatorship called the Global Trophy became a democracy. Yes, of course. So, kicking off with our dud team, representing Oceania, of course, it's Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, it's one of the teams that from representing Oceania, of course. Back in the day when it was, its own fully fledged qualifier, Papua New Guinea was probably one of the bigger teams.
Certainly was on that one. I think they maybe made it to maybe one Global Trophy final during one of those multiple segments where Australia got New Zealand at some point.
Yep, that's very true.
In the semi-finals. But that's about it, really, I think. Maybe one.
Absolutely.
Next up, it is Vanuatu.
Yes, Vanuatu, another Oceania team. I don't really know much about Vanuatu, I'll be honest with you. Do you know anything much about Vanuatu, Chris?
It's in the continent of Oceania.
Oh, good. Good content.
Thank you. Next up, we got a bit more to say about this one, which is Fiji.
Fiji, yeah, one of the... probably their primary sport in that country is rugby, but I suppose they can play football, can't they?
Yeah, but also Fiji is essentially, at the moment, the 4th highest placing Oceania team.
Yeah.
Obviously behind New Zealand, Australia, and a mystery 3rd team above Fiji. But Fiji usually do pretty decently in this. They either barely qualify or just barely not qualify.
Yeah,
They
hover around that dud team area quite a lot, don't they? Between like 6th and 10th is kind of their speciality.
Yeah, so maybe they've improved this time, and maybe they'll make it into that top 7 again.
Yep.
Next up, first team representing Asia here in the Asia-Oceania section of the preliminaries, we have Singapore.
Yes, a nation nestled between 2 archipelagos, I suppose you could say. You've got Malaysia and the Philippines either side of Singapore. Singapore is basically just a city, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a city-state.
Okay, and next up it is... Let's have a look. Ah, yes! Another member of the Oceania team. So technically Fiji is actually 5th. Tahiti.
They were in the Confederations Cup a few years ago. I think they lost 10-0 to Spain or Brazil. I can never remember which one it is.
That sounds about right, to be fair.
Yep.
I mean, if you got one of the giants of football who are also former Global Trophy champions,
of course,
and you're an Oceania team that's not New Zealand or Australia,
it's pretty much
probably
game
going to
over.
get bodied.
Yeah, you are.
Next up, representing Asia, we have... Where are they? T! Even though it starts with a C, it's Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, another one of those countries, kind of like Macau and Hong Kong, aren't they? Taipei. Not quite. It's its own country, but it's not like a fully fledged country. I believe. I think it's kind of like a sovereign state, if you like.
Well, then, if that's the case, I can't wait for the movie Chinese Taipei 2027.
Yes.
That's a reference to Hong Kong 1997 for people who want to know. Next up, it is the Maldives. Sorry, Deves. I continent and then E. You're supposed to pronounce the first vowel.
It's a long vowel sound, isn't it?
It's actual pronunciation.
It's a long vowel sound. Yeah. Maldives, a beautiful part of the world, supposedly.
Yes. Google it.
Yeah. Do that.
I'd say on that one. Next up, their team nowadays is awful, but in these string of misfits, let's be honest, they usually do quite well. They are former Asia Qualifier champions, Malaysia.
Yeah, really good team. They won back in 2010, the whole Asian section, so they're no strangers to success, but as Chris rightly said, they're not the team they used to be in terms of, the level of which their national team play at now. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see a surprise, and maybe they won't go through. But I would favour them to do quite well in this preliminary league.
Yeah. So interesting thing, really, when it comes to this, is the fact they are former Asian champions. You'd think they're going to do incredibly well here. So I'd say that Malaysia certainly one of the favourites.
Oh yeah.
Next up, it is New Caledonia. Oh, just like Montenegro last week, that means that we need to get another team to represent them because New Caledonia didn't exist in this game.
No, it didn't exist 20 years ago.
Nope. So, the team that we've got lined up for New Caledonia is a team that's not in the Asia and Oceania section and is the rank below them. If the team hits both these markers, they will be the team representing New Caledonia, and it is from the Americas, the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, they share an island or a border with Haiti, Dominican Republic. I think it's Dominican Republic that does. Not the worst team, I think. I feel like Dominican Republic could do quite well, considering generally the quality of the Americas section is higher than that of the Asian section.
Yep, I mean, to be fair, they could have got legends of global trophies past when there wasn't any FIFA rankings based on it. But they could have had San Marino, they could have had Macau, or they could have had Nepal.
Yep, could have been any of those.
But nope, they got Dominican Republic, which is, I'd say for these preliminaries, not a bad option, but it certainly could have been better, like, for example, China, that the Montenegro got.
Yeah, very true.
Next up, ranked number 7. For this, it is Afghanistan.
Probably, again, one of the more dominant teams in this section, I think Afghanistan will be. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. And next up, all the way down at the bottom now, we got to go to Yemen.
Yeah, let's move on. There's a lot of humanitarian problems going on in Yemen at the moment, isn't there?
Yes. Trust me, it doesn't get much better.
No.
Well, from about 25 years ago. Next up, I believe, would be Hong Kong.
It's still not great, is it?
Myanmar's after that.
This is... the Asian section is problematic.
Then it's Kuwait.
An oil state, I think.
Oil?
Yeah.
Can't wait for George Bush and Tony Blair to go after it.
Oh,
Say it's got weapons of mass destruction.
You're so 2003, Chris. God.
Like I care, they were bloody idiots.
They should have done their research a bit more. Yeah, I suppose that you're right.
George Bush and Tony Blair doing research.
Yeah, it's wishful thinking.
There's more chance of me being 6'5". Next up, it is the highest ranking team in the preliminaries from the Oceania territories. Or the continent, you could say. It's technically a continent, even though people think that Australia is the continent. It's not. Solomon Islands.
some people wrongly call it Australasia, don't they? But yeah, Solomon Islands, an interesting team. I don't fancy them to do well here, but hey, you never know.
You never know. Well, if their national team keeps doing well, maybe next year they don't even need to be in this.
Yeah.
I don't know how they've climbed so high, but they've missed out by 2 spots.
It's not bad,
and
is it, really?
one of the spots is number 1 here, the Philippines.
Yeah, decent team as well, Philippines. Like, not particularly amazing, but good enough, I think, to get through here. I think we'll find that out fairly shortly.
Yeah, and just to let everyone know, Philippines lost out to automatic qualification into the qualifiers for the Asia-Oceania section because it was overlapped by Tajikistan and North Korea. Well,
I mean, to be fair, North Korea were in the World Cup a few years ago, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, I believe. I think.
They
But
played Brazil.
usually it's South Korea that has the better football.
Yes, for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. Hugo Sun exists.
Yeah.
Right, so we kick off with New Caledonia versus Afghanistan in our first match of the Preliminary League.
Interesting to see how Dominican Republic get on here against Afghanistan.
It's a 2-1 win for Afghanistan. They're off to a good start. They are probably one of the favourites here.
I want to say they've won one of the preliminaries in the past, haven't they?
I think they might have done. If not, they've been pretty consistent at the top.
Yes, absolutely.
Next up, it's Hong Kong versus Fiji.
Two not exactly powerhouses, but we'll see.
We'll see. Kind of hoping for Fiji here, simply because, God's sakes, we need more than just Australia and New Zealand representing Oceania, really, don't we?
Yeah.
It is a 0-0 draw between the two. Not bad, but...
Not a great start for either, really, is it?
Yeah, but for your first match, I guess you'd take it, but
yeah,
against teams of this caliber, you really need to be winning these ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you could have Malaysia, for example, probably the favourite here.
Yeah,
against
Maldives definitely are not one of the favourites, are they?
Poor, beautiful, pretty Maldives. Nothing but a pretty face.
Oh dear.
Malaysia, with the skills and a 13-0 win, means that they now hold the record this year at the moment for the biggest win in this trophy so far.
Absolutely, and of course they're overtaking. I think it was. I want to say it was Hungary last week, who went 8-0.
Yeah,
something like
definitely.
That. Sounds about right.
Yep. Myanmar is now going to be getting their 3 points on the board very quickly with a win over Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, Myanmar are going to get obviously that early boost, if you like, but we'll see.
Myanmar's flag looks like American Samoa. It doesn't look like American Samoa. I think it looks like... It looks like one of the Samoas. I can't remember which one looks like that, and then there's another one that looks cooler.
And Samoa. Answers in the comments.
It's England against Samoa. A team of rank amateurs against Samoa.
Exactly.
Hugh Dennis said that one, I think, on Mock the Week.
Yep.
Next up, it is Tahiti versus Singapore.
Yep, two teams that I don't expect to qualify, but we'll see.
Yep, so one of them might have a good start here. It is Tahiti! What a win! 7-1.
That's a phenomenal start from Tahiti.
Yep, Tahiti up to second place. Would have been first in probably any other preliminary league, but Malaysia and Maldives exist.
Yes, they do.
Vanuatu now, can they join them with a win possibly over Chinese Taipei? Vanuatu are the lowest ranked team in this preliminary league that can actually get points.
They can. I wonder how they'll fare.
Ooh, 2-1 win for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, narrow loss there, but do you know what? Considering it's only a 2-1 loss, I don't think that's a bad result.
Yeah, not bad. Next up,
Kuwait and Yemen.
Yes. Kuwait win 3-0, moving swiftly onwards. But still good start for Kuwait, though. Kuwait usually do quite well in the Asian qualifiers as well. I think they've qualified for a few global trophies themselves.
They have, I think, fairly. Since we've been doing them on YouTube as well, they've definitely featured.
Yeah, they've done quite well.
Yeah.
Next up, Philippines versus the Solomon Islands, the two highest ranking teams in this league.
By FIFA ranking, yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how they compare.
Well, that's how they compare. 5-1 win for the Philippines.
Good start for the Philippines there, and they move up to third place.
Yep. Next up, it is Fiji, currently in 9th with a win in their first match versus Afghanistan, 7th. Sorry, a draw for Fiji.
Yeah.
4-0 Afghanistan. They're off to an unbeaten run so far. Good start.
Yep, good result there for Afghanistan. And next up we have Curacao. Is it Curacao? No.
New Caledonia.
New Caledonia, my apologies. New Caledonia.
Curacao's in America, you casual.
I'm sorry, my geography. I've been up since very early this
Sorry, I
morning.
should have said that with a Scottish accent. Hi, Ross.
Sorry, New Caledonia taking on Hong Kong.
Can't wait for him to just type that in the comments now.
It's gonna be a well, actually.
Curacao, and I'll just respond with, you forgot to put the parentheses bit on one of the C's. You casual.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a draw anyway, so...
Yeah. Another draw for Hong Kong. Their second draw of the competition. Dominican Republic getting their first point on the board.
Yep. Myanmar, Malaysia next up. Two teams who've kicked off with a win. Myanmar got a 3-0 win, which is pretty decent, and, well...
Malaysia got 13.
Yeah. Big win for Malaysia, 2-0. Still haven't let a goal yet. I've noticed Hong Kong haven't scored or conceded yet either.
No, they haven't. Obviously very good defensively, but maybe not so good going forward. Next up is Maldives getting their bye win over Papua New Guinea.
I mean, this is probably going to be the highest in the table that Maldives is ever going to get in this.
I think you might be right.
To be honest,
Yes.
the referee, Mr. G. Penn, Gall point pen, like ball point. Only he's just there going, Maldives exist. Wow, football.
Yes, they do. I mean, again, I've never known a single professional footballer from the Maldives, so you know, there's that.
There is that. That does exist.
Yep.
Chinese Taipei now versus Singapore.
Singapore are going off to a pretty terrible start, losing 7-1 to Tahiti.
Yeah, Taipei looking good with a 2-1 win, but only a 2-1 win. Could be better. That's a bit better. 2-1 for Chinese Taipei, so they're off to a pretty decent start.
Yeah, unbeaten, 100% record so far, and Tahiti can try and continue their own 100% start against Vanuatu.
Vanuatu lost 2-1 in their opening match. To Chinese Taipei, actually.
It was,
I believe.
yeah. It was.
And Tahiti, 1-7-1. 3-0 win for Tahiti. They're up in the second.
Good start for Tahiti. 6 points on the board.
Yep. Solomon Islands now versus Yemen. Two teams who lost in their opening battles.
Yep.
Opening battles is like I'm commenting on MRW again. Yemen with the win. 4-0.
Yeah, moving themselves up into that critical 8th place. And the final fixture of game week 2 is Philippines and Kuwait, both with winning starts.
Yep, Kuwait haven't let in a goal as of yet. They have now, but they were able to get the win over Philippines, up in the 4th with a 2-1 win.
Good result for Kuwait there.
Yep, Hong Kong, who are, well, brilliant in defence, terrible in attack, and terrible for the fans, versus Afghanistan.
Who are currently unbeaten and have won 2 out of 2.
That's better, 10-0. Stuff it to him, Afghanistan.
Hong Kong have won 3 games and scored 0. Not a great start, is it?
Yeah, I mean, well, now Hong Kong, now it looks worse for Hong Kong. They haven't scored yet.
No, they haven't.
Only, okay, nor is Fiji, but Papua New Guinea as well
Yes.
will never score.
No, they don't.
Bit like me. New Caledonia versus Fiji is next.
It is.
It's a 1-0 win for New Caledonia there. They're up in the 6th. Fiji not looking good here.
No, poor start for Fiji, only the 1 point on the board.
Yeah, Malaysia is now about to get their lowest, probably their lowest score of the tournament so far.
Yeah, definitely.
With a dud win.
I mean, they didn't really need the extra 3 points, did they, Malaysia? But they're going to get them. It's, it's part of the game.
Well, they certainly don't need the extra 3 goal difference, I think. They certainly don't need that. They may need the points at some point. I don't think so, but they certainly don't need the goal difference after that devastating, 12-0 win over the Maldives.
Nope.
Malaysia, still with an unbeaten run so far, an average of 6 goals a game.
Mental, isn't it, really? Absolutely crazy start.
Right, Maldives.
Battle of the
-10
M's.
goal
Wow.
difference.
Well, they got that 3-0 win over Papua New Guinea, you know, well earned from the Maldives, obviously.
Well, they got Myanmar, who actually have a legitimate chance, I think. 6-0 Myanmar. Yep, Maldives. Well, you did better this time. Fair play.
I mean,
Maldives,
they've conceded half the amount of goals they did last time. The only problem is they still conceded 6.
Yeah, they still lost quite badly. Speaking of quite badly, Vanuatu and Singapore, 2 teams that aren't even in the top 12 right now. They're lower than Maldives.
Maldives, of course, have that 3-0 win over Papua New Guinea, don't they?
Over the dud. It's a win for Vanuatu. They're up in the 10th. Maldives moved down to 11th. Singapore fading. Wow, God, they're fading worse than I thought.
Below the dud team, that's embarrassing, isn't it?
Below the dud team, fixture 3. Ouch.
Yikes.
Chinese Taipei, 6th place so far. Tahiti, unbeaten so far. Looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah, both teams on 6 points at the moment.
It's a win for Chinese Taipei. 2-1. Tahiti moved down to 4th. But I don't think that's going to affect them too badly at the start here. They still got a pretty decent goal difference.
No, they do. You're right. Absolutely. That huge 7-1 win over Singapore really coming in clutch, I think.
Yep. Yemen now versus the Philippines. 8th versus 9th here. Big battle between these two.
Absolutely.
4-1 Philippines. Yemen moved down to 10th. Philippines move up to 6th. And Vanuatu up to 9th now.
Yeah, that crucial start for Vanuatu with that win. You never know, might be a bit of a springboard for something. Next up is the Solomon Islands, who, let's face it, haven't had the best of starts either. Taking on Kuwait.
Yep, Kuwait looking to solidify themselves close to the top of the table as possible. And they do with a 6-0 win, moves Taipei down to 4th.
Kuwait move up to 3rd, yeah, and I think that puts Solomon Islands, I think, bottom.
It does indeed, yes.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Which one of these two is going to stay below Papua New Guinea the longest?
We'll have to wait and see. Moving on, we have a big crunch match at the top here. The top 2 teams, Malaysia and Afghanistan.
Yep, big fight feel here. It's a win for Malaysia. 1-0. Their lowest. Malaysia, you're weak. 1-0 win.
I mean, they still haven't conceded a goal yet, which is something, I suppose.
That's fair enough, but weak. Where's your 12-0s again?
They don't need 12-0s all the time.
It needs to be a match for the fans, not for your qualification. That doesn't matter.
Think of the entertainment value, Malaysia.
Yeah, think of the entertainment values. Sky box office will go through the roof.
Moving on.
Do you remember Sky box office?
I do.
It's funny.
It still exists, I think.
New Caledonia versus Maldives. Okay. A possible definite 3 points. Yeah. 5-1, but Maldives actually got a goal.
That's their first goal
over someone who wasn't the dud team.
Yeah, it's their first goal they've scored that wasn't against Papua New Guinea. So it's a start.
But 24 goals against is not great.
Yeah, they're averaging
in technically 3 games.
Yeah, they're averaging six goals conceded a game, and that's after the
if you count out the dud team battle,
it's 8.
That's 8.
Oh dear.
Fiji. Fading fast. Myanmar in a decent position so far, with 2 wins and a loss. 3-0 Myanmar. They move up to 4th for the time being.
Yep, and Hong Kong are going to get 3 points.
Yeah, it's going to move them into a pretty decent position. Getting the first one on the board. They played 4-2-4.
Jesus, no wonder they're conceding so many goals.
Yeah.
Hang on. Hong Kong are playing 4-2-4.
Yeah, Hong Kong are
How
playing
have they not scored then? How have they not scored?
4-2-4.
How have they not scored?
How?
I don't understand.
Maybe it's because their midfield's bad, so they just can't get the ball upfield. Maybe they just play hoofball or something. They got like a rock-solid defence.
Maybe. Who knows? Yemen and Singapore next up. Yemen doing okay. Singapore definitely aren't.
They're above Papua New Guinea for now. Never mind.
It's 4-0. Bloody hell. They moved to the bottom of the table.
Yep, 4-0, but still Solomon Islands still yet to play.
Yep.
Which is more entertaining?
I'm all for the battle of the bottom. This is way more interesting.
Answer this question in the comments, everybody.
Oh dear.
What is the more important battle here? Is it the battle for first, or is it the battle for 7th, or is it the battle for 16th right now?
15th. Oh dear. I have to
Well,
notice
we have to go back
the
to the
Maldives
top.
have the worst. Well, Maldives have the worst goal difference as well. Look, they have 20, minus 20.
Yeah, they suck. Just a pretty face, Maldives.
Yes, it's very true. Tahiti and Kuwait.
Yeah, Tahiti and Kuwait. Kuwait with a 2-0 win there. Tahiti, that's their second loss in a row.
Yeah, Kuwait move up to 2nd place. Brilliant
Here
start.
comes Solomon Islands.
It's Chinese Taipei, who've had a decent start, unbeaten so far.
Yep. It's a draw between the two. Solomon Islands have beaten Singapore.
They're off the line.
They're off the line. Singapore, the ultimate losers.
The thing is, well, Solomon Islands have scored 2 goals there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, fair play, fair play.
That's
to
a
them.
bad sign for Chinese Taipei, though, that is, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, definitely. If they draw Solomon Islands, but that gives now a lot of teams a chance to catch up with them, including Vanuatu and the Philippines here.
Philippines in 8th place at the moment. Vanuatu down in 11th.
Yeah, but it's the final fixture of the 4th fixture, or the final match of the 4th fixture, so a win for either of these two would be brilliant, especially Philippines.
Absolutely.
But especially Vanuatu. But especially Bart. It's a win for the Philippines, no Bart.
No, but no. And 5 for the Philippines moves them up to 5th. And Afghanistan play poor old Maldives.
Poor knackered old Maldives. Ah!
It's 7-0.
7-0 Maldives now on 31.
They're still averaging 6 a game conceded. And these.
What will Maldives' goal difference be by the end of the league?
Will it be triple figures? You never know.
I'm pretty
doubt
certain
it.
it'll
I
be
doubt
triple
it.
figures.
I doubt it.
I'm almost certain it will be triple figures.
You reckon?
What will their goal difference be? Will that be triple figures?
Maybe.
Next up, it's Malaysia going up against New Caledonia, obviously being represented by the Dominican Republic, and Sod trying to put those names together to win for Malaysia 3-0.
Yeah, another comfortable 3-0 win, which puts Malaysia back to the top. Still yet to concede a goal, and have won all 5 games.
Yep, just dominant. Fiji finally getting some points on the board. Both teams obviously playing the Mike Bassett.
The 4-4-2. Sorry, the 4-4-fucking-2.
Thank you. No, you got to say its actual pronunciation.
Yep, sorry. I have to make sure you get it right.
Yeah, you can't just say 4-4-2. Like that, it doesn't work. That's not how Bassett plays it.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, there's a new formation in his.
Really?
Played by that guy that stripped at the end.
Oh, I hope
Him.
so. I hope so.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's a win for Fiji. 3-0 win for Fiji.
Yep, win for Fiji, moves them up to 11th. That's the first win on the board.
Yep.
Their first 3 goals on the board as well.
I mean, they only conceded 8 in 4. That's not too bad.
For what, in comparison to...
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
this
compared to
team here?
Maldives, Solomon Islands, Singapore.
No. Look, he's like 15, 17. Like, these goals against, if they were ages, couldn't even get a pint at the bar.
But Maldives definitely could. Maldives have had too many
This one
pints.
should be nowhere near a nightclub.
No, absolutely not.
Even though, to be honest, I'm 3 years off that age, so...
Absolutely. Oh, dear. Don't remind us.
Never mind.
We're getting old now.
We'll get to fixture 7, and then I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Myanmar versus Hong Kong. I've just thought about it, actually. Maldives, don't you dare start winning. Anyway, Myanmar, Hong Kong. Hong Kong, not looking brilliant, but Myanmar looking pretty good. But they could certainly solidify their top 4 status with a win here.
Yeah, a win for Myanmar will lift them up to 3rd for the moment.
It's 4-1. Big win for Myanmar there over Hong Kong.
Good result, yeah, absolutely. And now it's Kuwait against Singapore.
Singapore.
Could go bottom
Well,
here.
if they lose,
They go
they're
bottom.
back at the bottom. Yay! 6-0 for Kuwait. Singapore back at the bottom again.
Yep, Kuwait moved themselves up to 2nd place. Look at that.
Yep. How long will this run last for Singapore?
It's not looking good, is it?
It's not looking...
I think they might be out. I think they might
They're
be
pretty
out.
much out. Maldives got Papua New Guinea so early. They would be worse than Singapore at this point.
Well, they could be. They might be. It's interesting to see if Maldives get overtaken by Singapore at some point. And the Solomon Islands, for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yemen Tahiti next up. Tahiti in 10th, or in 8th. Yemen in 9th. Both teams with 6 points. No draws, 2 wins and 2 losses each. Tahiti with the better goal difference, though. And a draw between the two. That doesn't really help either. Because Vanuatu's coming up soon.
Yeah, lifts them both up a place, but, you know, we'll see.
Big match in the qualifying section now. It's Chinese Taipei and Philippines, 5th versus 6th.
Yep, a win for Philippines will lift. Sorry, a win for Taipei will lift them up to 3rd. A win for Philippines, a big win for Philippines could lift them up to 3rd, but it'd have to be a very big win.
Yeah, it might happen. It was a big win, but not big enough. But they do move up into 4th. Good win for Philippines.
Absolutely, and now an all-Oceania clash between Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands.
Yep, can Solomon Islands actually get some more points? Nope, no. Vanuatu with the win. 2-0, move up to 10th. Still in with a shout.
Yeah, not out of the picture yet for Vanuatu. Next up is Afghanistan and Myanmar. 2 teams have only lost 1 game each. Both won 4.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that top 6 is looking pretty good at the moment. A third of the way through.
Absolutely, definitely the top 5.
It could be an all-out battle for 7th, and we love those, don't we?
We do. We absolutely do.
3-0 win for Afghanistan there. Big win.
Yep, and New Caledonia are going to pick up 3 points against Papua New Guinea.
Which means the meme can live on that Singapore could still be bottom by the end of the next fixture.
A third of the way through, and they still might be bottom.
Yep, third of the way through, and they could... Well, no, third of the way through, they're already there. They're already there. They could get halfway through and still be bottom.
Yep, absolutely.
That could very well happen. I mean, imagine if they get them last.
Jesus.
And they're below them the entire time.
Yeah, it would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh, I want to see that. Fiji versus Malaysia. Malaysia currently in 2nd place, but could go top, or will go top with a win here.
Yeah, red hot favourites at the moment, Malaysia, you'd have to say.
7-0 Malaysia, big win. Still yet to concede.
Fantastic, isn't it? They're doing so well, and you know, at the moment they're averaging 5 goals a game. Like themselves are averaging 5 goals a game, pretty much.
Yeah. Speaking of 5 goals a game, that's something Hong Kong wish they could do.
They haven't even scored 5 yet.
Yep, they've got Maldives, which they wish they could concede that only.
We'll see.
4-1, Maldives get a goal, which is only their 5th, but they still have lost again.
They have, and look at that, Hong Kong now into 8th place.
Yeah, with a 2-2-2 record.
Hey, oh, here we go. This is the crunch match. Look at this.
Oh, here we go. Solomon Islands, Singapore. Can Singapore get a point?
They can.
Yes, they can. They got 3 of them.
Wow.
Which
God,
means
Solomon Islands are awful.
the run is over, and now Solomon Islands are not looking great.
They're not. They are.
That is the team, by the way, that is ranked number 2 in this preliminaries. It's rock bottom.
They might qualify. Like they might get into the qualifiers legit next year. And end up playing like an Australia or a Japan or a South Korea. Imagine that. Oh,
well, here comes a 16-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Tahiti versus the Philippines. Tahiti looking pretty okay. Philippines looking a lot better.
Yeah, Philippines here with the win can go potentially up to 2nd with a big win.
4-0 Philippines. They've done it again with a 4. And it's, yeah, they're looking pretty good. Tahiti's starting to falter.
Yeah, they're down to 10th place now. And Chinese Taipei will take on Yemen. A bit of a mid-table clash here. 7th and 9th.
Yep, 3 points in it so far. That's a big win for Yemen.
Yeah, lifts them up to 6th place. Look at that. And Taipei down to 8th now.
Yep, Kuwait now versus Vanuatu. Vanuatu in 11th. Kuwait currently sitting pretty good in 4th.
Yep, and they are currently unbeaten. They still have only conceded 1 goal.
Wow, 8-0 moves them right up into 2nd place.
I'm going to say it, Chris. Again, for context, this is the 2nd time we're recording this, and I'm going to say it again because it happened last time. Hey, Chris, it was Kuwait 0. Yeah, I went there.
To be fair, it was shit yesterday, and it was shit today. Speaking of shit, Papua New Guinea are going to give away another 3 points.
But
this time to Afghanistan.
Yeah, they're not shit.
How
they're
kind
not shit, are they,
Guinea?
Afghanistan? Yeah.
How kind.
Yeah, they're very generous, aren't they?
Yeah, Papua New Guinea, incredibly generous, giving everyone points.
Absolutely. Not that Afghanistan need it, I don't think. I think Afghanistan are fairly comfortable to assume that they're going to be qualifying for this.
Yeah, they're looking... well, unless something
catastrophic
happens, like a Belarus or a Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Yep.
I think they should be okay.
I think they will be okay, yeah.
Right, Myanmar versus New Caledonia, who's currently sitting in that coveted 7th spot. Myanmar up in 5th right now, but nowhere near safe.
No, not at all, but a win here for Myanmar will lift them about 5 points clear.
Yeah, but it's really all about the points here. It's a draw between the two. That gives Yemen, Taipei, Hong Kong, I'd even say Tahiti and Vanuatu a chance. Probably not Fiji. But then again...
They've got Maldives next.
Then again...
How many will it be?
5!
Jesus Christ.
Well, they wanted to get to concede 5. They got it.
Well, Fiji, big up. It's a big 5-0 win there. And poor old Hong Kong have now got Malaysia, the runaway leaders.
Yeah. I mean, Hong Kong, they're doing okay at the moment, so don't count your chickens, but... Well, count your chickens.
10-0. Goodness me.
Dominant Malaysia right now, and that's going to move them, unless Kuwait win or draw,
heavily,
that's going to move them 3 points clear.
It will, yeah, absolutely. Singapore and Philippines. Yeah, a derby match, I suppose you could say. They're next door to each other.
Yep, versus the Philippines. Singapore, who got points in the last fixture.
They did.
They didn't get points here.
Only a 1-0 win, though, for Philippines.
Yeah, and then it's another Oceania clash. It's Tahiti versus the 1 point Solomon Islands.
Yeah, Tahiti with a win here can move themselves potentially up to 7th with a massive win, but we'll see.
It's a 3-0 win for Tahiti. I'd say 8 will do, but it depends on how Yemen and Taipei go.
Well, it's very true, but of course Kuwait now play Taipei. Kuwait can move into 2nd place, level on points with Malaysia.
I mean, if they break the record, they could move up into 1st.
They could.
2-0 is not a record. It would be if Maldives did it, to be honest, because we just, times it by 11 or something.
Basically. But it is a win
at this point.
for Kuwait.
But, yeah, that does move them into 2nd.
It does, and now it's Yemen and Vanuatu. Yemen with a win here can move potentially up to 5th.
Yeah, win for Vanuatu moves them up to 10th, and essentially
in
back
contention.
in it.
Yeah, into contention.
8-1 Yemen, that's a statement right there.
It really, really is. Look at that great result for Yemen. Moving on then to the
now
8th fixture. Yeah.
after their 1 win that they got 2 fixtures ago, now they're just being fed to the dogs now. It's Singapore versus Afghanistan.
Yeah, Afghanistan with a big win here can move potentially into the lead for the time being.
Wow, only 2-0.
That's surprising me.
Yeah, I was expecting for it to be a lot more. Good defending by Singapore.
Yep, still not good enough though. They lost to Afghanistan.
Yeah, but don't ruin it for them. They did well.
They tried.
Kind of. Tahiti now take on New Caledonia. This is a big battle actually. It's 7th and 8th right now, and we are getting close to that. Essentially, we're on the halfway mark now.
Yeah, the mid-fixture point. I think a win here for either of them will be great. Obviously, a win for New Caledonia, a big win for either team will lift them potentially up to 5th.
It's a win for New Caledonia up into 5th. Tahiti, they're staying in it at the moment.
Yep, absolutely. But they're still in and about it, unless Chinese Taipei are able to beat Fiji here.
Yep, which could certainly have the top 7 essentially be far ahead of the rest.
Basically, yeah.
It's a 1-1 draw!
I think that suits probably Fiji a little bit more. Taipei move above Tahiti, but only by 1 point.
Yeah, that's not going to look brilliant for them, because Hong Kong and Vanuatu, one of them could be on their tail.
Yep, a win for Hong Kong, and they do move on to level points with Taipei, of course. Their goal difference vastly inferior.
3-1 win for Vanuatu.
Move up to 10th place.
Yeah, Hong Kong down to 12th. Now it's, well, this is bad for Yemen if they can't get a point here, because they certainly need it, I'd say.
Yeah, they're not exactly running away from the kind of danger zone, are they? Whereas Malaysia, of course, well clear, 10 points ahead of 8th already.
Yep, only at the halfway point. They're more now.
Look at that, 43 goals in 8 games. It's still 5 a game.
Still
unbelievable.
Yet to concede.
I mean, Kuwait have only conceded 1, and they've got Maldives.
Let's have a look at Maldives. 40 at the moment.
What's going to be after this?
Oh, 49!
Oh dear.
Oh.
A great result for Kuwait, lifted them into second and 6 goals behind Malaysia now.
Yeah, so it's really all about who can score the most, who can hit the net more between those two.
Absolutely. Solomon Islands against Myanmar next up. Solomon Islands, just the 1 point.
Yep, the singular point. Well, that's not going to help them.
No, it's not. 6-0.
Myanmar move up to 5th, so good for them. Philippines going to get their 3 points now, which is going to keep the pressure on the top 3, which I believe they will now be a part of as well.
Yeah, they will. I think Philippines can be fairly comfortable and happy that they're going to qualify at this point. I mean, we're starting to get a bit of a picture as to how the league's going to go.
Essentially, that top 4 looking quite good, but then again, how many of them have actually fought each other?
Well, this is what I was
don't think
thinking.
it's many.
Apart from Afghanistan and Malaysia, I don't think they have.
Well, that could. If you have like a bad run of taking them all on at once, or like one after the other, that could really dampen your chances.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the top 4, they're 10 points clear of the 8th place now.
Yeah,
all
but
of them.
If
things can change.
If one of them hasn't fought all 3 of them, and they get them all at once, and one of the other teams do really well, they can only be 1 point ahead at the end.
Very true. Very true.
Afghanistan, one of those teams taking on Tahiti, one of the other teams I mentioned.
Yep, on to game week 9.
Yep, fixture 9. Only 1 for Afghanistan there over Tahiti.
But a win's a win, and they move just a little bit further into safety, don't they?
Yep, definitely. Next up, Singapore, who, well, I think it's pretty much over for them. But they've got New Caledonia, so win. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Not at all.
Nope. Vanuatu Fiji. This is going to be an interesting one because essentially the winner could put the loser in a really difficult spot, and the winner could be right in there in contention.
Yep, absolutely. A win for Vanuatu, and they're literally in 8th place.
Yep,
more or
big
less.
crunch match. 5-1 Fiji.
That's a huge result for Fiji.
They fought back quite well, haven't they, Fiji?
They have. I don't think they've played Papua New Guinea yet either.
Yeah, so
I don't think they have. Anyway, I might be wrong.
I think Fiji might be sitting pretty right now. But they are only in 8th, and, well, they were kind of at the start of the fixture, so we'll see what it's like at the end. Chinese Taipei currently in 9th versus Hong Kong, starting to slip in 12th.
Yep, a win for Chinese Taipei, and they move above Yemen into 7th. A win for Hong Kong, and they're back into contention, but that goal difference is really hurting them, isn't it?
Certainly is. It's going to hurt them even more now. At least they're on 10 goals now, but 4-1 Chinese Taipei move up into 7th.
Oh, here we go. Here's that big crunch match then at the top.
Kuwait, Malaysia. Both teams
Perfect records
to lose a point.
Yeah.
Only 1 goal in the net for either of these teams combined. It's going to be a poor draw, isn't it?
Imagine.
No, it's not. It's 2-1 Malaysia. Malaysia finally concede a goal, but Kuwait lose their first points. Malaysia takes centre stage at the top.
They do, and move clear on 27 points, and that pretty much confirms just how good Malaysia are, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, former Asian Oceania qualifier champions. So you can see the pedigree right here.
Absolutely, and speaking of pedigree, the Maldives!
Yes!
They have no pedigree, and they're taking on Yemen, who are in 8th place.
What are the Maldives old Yella?
Yeah.
Well, is that the metaphorical version of a shotgun
taking it to the woods, yeah.
Yeah, 7-1. They scored another goal.
That's 6.
But Yemen move up to 7th now. Good win for them. They're averaging 3 a game so far.
Not bad for Yemen at all. Myanmar and the Philippines, 2 teams in that kind of not safe group. Philippines looking pretty good at the moment. A win for them will take them potentially up to 3rd if it's a big win.
If it's a record breaker. Or a tire actually could probably do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that, but it is a 3-0 win. Myanmar moved down to 7th, putting Yemen up into 6th.
Yeah, the goal difference there for Yemen coming in handy, especially with that big win they just had.
Right. They finally got a win.
Solomon Islands move above the Maldives.
To be fair, we were expecting that for a while, because I think probably Maldives are the weakest team in this.
Oh, but Solomon Islands are pretty bad, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, but they don't lose, like, every match 45 million nil.
Yeah, they lost to Singapore, and Singapore are awful.
That's true. Yeah, okay, we'll see how Maldives do against Singapore, and then we'll decide that.
That's the true barometer here.
Oh, yeah, no one cares about that top. Hang on a minute. Yeah, we go. That's more important.
The race to the bottom.
There we go. The race to the bottom. Taipei, Chinese Taipei versus Afghanistan. We have to move up here anyway, because Afghanistan, the cheeky sods they're in 3rd.
Yep. Chinese Taipei in 8th at the moment. A win here for them could lift them up to 5th with a big win.
I mean, that puts a lot of distance between them and the chasing pack, so we could be down to pretty much the top 8 there, but then fight for who's going to be the dud pretty much.
Could be.
With a win for Chinese Taipei, which they don't get because, well, it's Afghanistan, what do you expect?
Yep, and the start of the 10th fixture puts Afghanistan into 2nd place, Vanuatu and New Caledonia.
Yep, New Caledonia currently sitting pretty good in 5th. Vanuatu 11th is not great, especially when 7th is 7 points away.
Yeah, exactly. A win here for New Caledonia, I think, can pretty much confirm them as going through, can't it? You'd think.
You'd think. It's 9-1. It's a big win.
It's a great win. Look at that.
Yeah, and when we go into that next fixture with only 5 to go, that is going to give New Caledonia a bit of an edge, I'd say, over teams like Yemen and Myanmar.
Absolutely.
Next up, Singapore versus Fiji. Fiji, big chance for them to get some points here.
Yeah, this is a massive opportunity for them.
Yep, stay in contention. 1-0 is close enough.
Not the best result, but it's a win.
It's a win. I mean, they've got... Okay, their goal difference is rubbish, but it's better than Chinese Taipei's at least. And losses for Yemen and Myanmar could put Fiji in contention.
Absolutely. It really could. Next up is Hong Kong and Tahiti. A win for Tahiti puts them back into contention as well. Hong Kong desperate for a win.
Yeah, they need it really, I'd say, to stay in it. Nope, 2-1 win for Tahiti.
And then move up to, well, stay in 10th place, but they move further ahead of Vanuatu. Oh no,
yeah,
I've just seen... Oh no.
Oh god!
Oh no.
Okay, here's the scale of who's worse. Is it Singapore or Solomon Islands? Remember, Malaysia beat Singapore. Oh no, wait, no, Solomon Islands or Maldives. Malaysia beat Maldives 12-0. Oh.
It was 14.
Well, Malaysia's just broken their own record, haven't they, in this global trophy so far? 14-0 over the Solomon Islands means that Malaysia have broken their own record for the biggest win in this tournament so far.
The all-time biggest win is 19-0.
Yeah, so good start for Malaysia, good start.
Yeah, it's not far off the all-time record.
Oh no. Philippines, can you match that? It's the Maldives versus the Philippines. Nearly!
Oh, it was close. 13.
Imagine if those results were switched. And it was like Philippines going first. It'd be like, oh, 13-0, and Malaysia's got it back!
Oh, God. But look at that goal difference now. Look, goals for Malaysia, 59.
Yep, goals against 1. Let's have a look at the goals against from the bottom.
Oh, dear.
Nice!
Nice! I can't believe it's 69.
That's nearly an average of 7 a game.
I'll say they might end up with over 100 goals against.
That's what I'm thinking about. Look at the goal difference of Solomon Islands and Singapore in comparison.
I mean, it's not great even still.
They're doing better.
But they're both equally shit. Let's move on. Myanmar.
They're worse.
Myanmar.
Here you can have the arrow on either end of a stick. Have that. cursor thing, which even though there's nothing to increase or decrease the size of. Anyway, Myanmar, Yemen. Big crunch match here, really, between the two. I mean...
This is a serious match, this is, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, in a very, very, very silly preliminary league. It's a draw between the two. I mean, I'd say that favours both of them, but then it doesn't. Really, that gives New Caledonia a bit of daylight.
A bit of breathing space, and it also gives incentive to Taipei and Fiji beneath them.
Exactly, and speaking of incentive, Kuwait get their 3 points finally.
They do, against Papua New Guinea, who have, again, very generously given 3 points to Kuwait.
I wonder if we ever did awards for the Global Trophy. I mean, I used to do them, to be fair. So I think in, like, 2006, the award went for, like, Ghana being, like, giant killers. So I think they beat, like, Italy and the Netherlands in the Global Trophy finals. En route to finishing 4th.
Absolutely. I think, a few years ago we had South Korea, of course, being the giant killer, didn't we? Making all the way to the final.
Yep, definitely. Vanuatu versus Afghanistan. This isn't looking good for Vanuatu at all.
No. Vanuatu desperately need to win here in order to stay in contention, don't they?
I believe there's a certain 3-word term that Tahiti can say to Vanuatu after this. Mind the gap.
Yeah, 4 points behind with only 4 games to go, and Afghanistan with a 6-0 win.
Yep, Afghanistan looking so good that they pretty much qualified. Chinese Taipei now versus New Caledonia. So Taipei in 9th, New Caledonia currently in 5th. Not safe, but they're looking pretty good.
They are looking pretty good. And I think a win here for New Caledonia, again, doesn't guarantee them a place, but pretty much guarantees them a place.
I'd say gets them close enough.
Yeah.
It is a 2-1 win. Chinese Taipei, it's not looking good for them. Tahiti Fiji next. Big Oceania clash.
Massive game, this is.
Massive game for either of those two. It's a win for Fiji, never mind the gap. Fiji up there now.
They're level on points with Myanmar and Yemen. Goal difference isn't in their favour, but it's an opportunity.
Hong Kong, who are still in it at the moment, barely clinging on.
They take on Singapore, who aren't.
Oh, they're out.
Yep.
Actually, no, they're technically still in, but...
they're not, they're out.
All I need to do is press this lovely button and they'll be out.
Yep.
Wow, a draw! Singapore!
Oh, that's an awful result for Hong Kong.
That is terrible for Hong Kong.
And now, a top of the table clash.
Yes, Philippines versus Malaysia there.
Yeah, those two big countries that surround Singapore.
Yeah, indeed. 1-0 Malaysia, they're still undefeated.
Yep, only the 1 goal conceded in 11 games as well. Unbelievable.
I think it's safe to say that Malaysia's qualified.
I think they have, actually.
Am I good to say that? Oh, God!
This is the match, this is the one.
This is the one!
We've been waiting for this one. It's Solomon Islands against the Maldives.
Come on! Who is the dribbling shits? Apparently Maldives are the dribbling shits, of course.
Solomon Islands move above Singapore once again into 13th.
Up into 7th, they're only 2 off Vanuatu.
Unbelievable from Solomon
They're
Islands.
still in with a chance right now. Technically.
They're really not, are they?
Technically, mathematically they are. Singapore and Maldives are out. Solomon Islands have fought to stay in the competition at least for one more fixture.
Yep, and same thing with Vanuatu and Hong Kong, really. Next up is Kuwait and Myanmar, 2 teams that are, well, Kuwait's looking pretty good, and a win here pretty much guarantees in qualification.
Yep, Myanmar do need a good result here, because do you know who Yemen's got?
Go on. Oh, Papua New Guinea.
Yemen's got the dud, so they're going to get 3 points here. 4-0 Kuwait. They stay in 2nd place. Not looking good for Myanmar now. Fiji could take this.
No, and Yemen, of course, now move 3 clear.
Yep, and that has secured the qualification of Kuwait and Afghanistan. They are through.
There you go. Nicely done, guys.
Yep, so Kuwait and Afghanistan join Malaysia in the Asian Oceania Qualifiers. Fiji have a chance here.
It's an outside chance, isn't it? But I think they can do it.
No, it's not an outside chance at all now, because Fiji are now joint points with Myanmar in 7th. If Fiji, and I'm pretty certain actually, Fiji haven't fought Papua New Guinea yet.
Yeah, I don't think they have. I don't think they have either. So this is, I mean, look at this as well. Yemen, it's a good job they got those 3 points. They've now got Afghanistan.
Yep, and they could certainly drop them 10 points between the two teams. 1-0 win for Afghanistan. They keep on moving, even though they have already qualified.
Absolutely. Kuwait, of course, have also qualified. A Dominican Republic win here doesn't guarantee them qualification, but it gives them basically it's match point then for them, isn't it?
It's they'll still need sort of maybe 3, but it'll be close enough if they do get the win here. And they do! They beat Kuwait!
Kuwait defeated, the second time only.
That's a big win for Dominican Republic there.
Fiji have Solomon Islands.
Have got the resurging Solomon Islands after their amazing victory. And they've just got bummed.
But look at that as well, the goal difference now is very close between Myanmar and Fiji moved to 7th.
Yeah, what a comeback for Fiji right now.
Can they do it?
Yeah, sorry, Solomon Islands, you're out.
You're out now, yeah.
You're out now. Now you're out. Hong Kong, Philippines next up.
Hong Kong can still qualify, but they require snookers. Philippines, if they win, are guaranteed to go through.
Yep, Hong Kong need a win to stay in the game. Or they could possibly be the dud team, but for automatic qualification, they need to win this. Nope. 2-0, Hong Kong. Best they can do is dud.
Yep, absolutely. And Philippines have qualified.
Yep, Singapore. Oh, God. Versus Malaysia.
Poor Singapore.
Is this another record? Nearly. And nearly
scored.
A tire there. 14-1. Singapore just screwing over Malaysia right there in the end.
I mean, that's only the second goal they've conceded all competition. The other goal they conceded was against Kuwait, so very respectable for Singapore. But yeah, the 14 going in their own
net. Have you seen the 14 on the other side of it?
Oh dear. Maldives and Tahiti.
Right, Tahiti, I mean, they're still in it, and they've got Maldives, so...
A win here for Tahiti lifts them back into contention, doesn't it?
A win here for the Maldives means nothing, so... Tahiti. 1-0. Really?
It's enough.
Really, Tahiti?
This is a massive crunch match. Look at this.
You scored 1 against the -65 goal difference team.
Oh, dear.
They're still in it, but I think after that performance, they don't deserve to be in it.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, Myanmar, Chinese Taipei. Now, Taipei, again, still in it, and, you know, a win would be good for them, but Myanmar currently in 8th.
Yeah, they need a win to maintain pace with Yemen and Fiji, don't they, really?
A win for Taipei puts them back in it, but also it gives some daylight for Fiji.
It does.
It's a win for Myanmar. That is not good for Chinese Taipei and Tahiti. Hong Kong knocked out. Vanuatu knocked out. We are down to 10.
Well, Vanuatu can get 3 points here. They're still in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are getting at 3 points. So Vanuatu are not out as of yet.
Yeah. Take it
back,
They might
as well be.
Apologise to the nation of Vanuatu.
No one would hear me anyway, to be fair.
Oh, dear me. This video's getting removed off YouTube.
Why? For what reason?
I don't know.
Oh, I know what it is. It's because of the nice, wasn't it?
Nice.
It's the nice. It's the nosh. That's the reason it's going. The big, dirty nosh is the reason that it's getting removed.
Kuwait and Afghanistan, for basically to secure second place, this is, isn't it, really?
Well, they're still having a chance to win. It depends on if Malaysia actually, you know...
Fancy losing.
If they falter.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's a draw between the two anyway, so Malaysia may go further ahead.
This is a big match.
Yeah, it's pretty big there. Dominican Republic versus Yemen.
A win for Dominican Republic does qualify them. Pretty much.
Well, close enough. It would require goal difference, and I highly doubt that. So yeah, pretty much put them through. Yemen do need a win here, or maybe Myanmar and Fiji might take this at the end. 2-1 to New Caledonia, who have pretty much qualified.
Yeah, I think there's...
Actually, they have qualified.
Yeah, they can't be overtaken by all three, I don't think, can they?
Yeah.
Well, Yemen can't catch them, so yeah, there you go.
Ooh, Fiji, Philippines. Ooh, is it all going to come... becoming unraveled right at the end for Fiji? Do you have one of the bigger teams? 6-0. That's
hurt
not
the goal
good.
difference as well, hasn't it? That's not great.
It opens the door for Tahiti, possibly.
Yep. Next up is Solomon Islands, who have, I mean, they're out of it, and Hong Kong, who are out of it.
And it ends in a draw, so Solomon Islands get another point.
Yep, they're on to 8 points.
Yep. Oh god, but Tahiti's got one worse. They got Malaysia.
They do. That's not a great fixture to have, is it really? Not at this stage.
Certainly isn't, not at this point in the game. 3-0 though only for Malaysia.
Yep, but they have good goal difference to Tahiti's. I mean, it's at 0, so it's better than Fiji's.
Yep, so that might be something that could save them, but they need a lot now at this point.
They do.
Singapore have got Maldives.
Oh, this is the true clash of the bottom of the barrel, isn't it, really?
The true crunch match. See, I told you they were shit. Another 3 goals against for Maldives, but then again, to be fair, they're not going to end on a -100.
Unless there's some serious goals going in.
Yeah, Vanuatu versus Myanmar now. Ooh, okay, well, if Vanuatu draw, they're out. If they win, they're still in barely. And if they lose, they're out. 6-0 Myanmar.
And lifts them above Yemen as well, crucially.
Yep, that knocks out Vanuatu, who are definitely out now. So I now rescind my apology that I never gave. Chinese Taipei get 3 vital points here.
They do. This could be a potential game changer for Taipei because they're now only 3 behind Fiji and Yemen with 2 games to go.
Yeah, Myanmar looking a hell of a lot stronger now.
And I think that does guarantee the qualification of, like, Dominican Republic. Or did we know that already? I can't remember.
It was mostly there, but yeah, I'm pretty certain Dominican Republic are, they're definitely safe now with their 29 points.
I think so, yeah. So, 2 games to go. Afghanistan play the Solomon Islands.
Yep, a match that really doesn't matter. Because I highly doubt Malaysia's going to lose 2 in a row.
Not me.
It is 8-1 for Afghanistan.
It is.
Only their 3rd conceded goal, so Solomon Islands getting a goal, but they let in 8.
Who's the real winner here?
Yeah, Philippines and Dominican Republic, 2 teams that have qualified already.
Of course.
It's a draw between the 2.
This is a massive match. Fiji versus Yemen.
Fiji, Yemen, ouch.
Well, the winner basically qualifies.
Unless Fiji win it, because Yemen's goal difference is way better.
Yeah, so if Yemen wins, they pretty much qualified, and that knocks Fiji out, and therefore knocks out
Chinese Taipei as well.
Yeah. And
Chinese Taipei's goal difference is worse.
Yep.
Okay, Fiji, Yemen. Fiji get the win!
That's massive for Fiji.
Big win there for Fiji. Kuwait, Hong Kong next. Kuwait already through. Hong Kong already out. 3-0 Kuwait. They stay with the top 4.
And Taipei play Malaysia. This will be the end of Taipei's run, I fear.
Yep, they need a win to stay in with a chance. They can lose and still possibly be a dud team, but that takes a lot of doing. They pretty much get knocked out here if they lose. Which they have. 7-0. Chinese Taipei out of the competition. Tahiti still in with a chance.
Vanuatu play the Maldives, so Vanuatu could move closer to Tahiti.
Closer, yes, indeed. Maldives have won!
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Bloody Deves have won and are still bottom.
I don't believe it. Vanuatu lost to the Maldives. the apology to the nation of Vanuatu has never been more wrong.
Thank you. YouTube, get this video back up now. Bastards. Right, Myanmar currently in 6th. they're not technically safe, but they're close enough. A draw here puts them through.
Yep. And a win definitely puts them through. Singapore, of course, long gone.
Yep, very much long gone. They're down in 14th right now. 5-0 Myanmar. Myanmar have qualified.
Yeah, and Tahiti, well, Tahiti could still steal that dud spot. He's going to move on to 19 points here with the win over Papua New Guinea.
And Yemen has 20, which is 8th.
Yeah, that's that. They can let that dud spot.
Dud spot is 8th.
Yes, but Tahiti's going to have 19 points, and Yemen's going to have 20. There's one game to go.
Yeah, this is the last game.
No, this
it's
is
not.
The penultimate game.
Never mind,
it's the penultimate game.
Never mind, I'm shit.
Quick maths.
It's been a long day at work. What can you say?
It has been a very long day.
I will blame my work. I always do. I mean, to be fair, last year I blamed the laptop they gave me. So
yeah.
Now it's a small little PC tower. It's just it exists.
It's all good. It's all good.
It exists.
Right then.
Okay. Well, yeah, they could get the dud. Fiji looking good, but they could still get the dud.
Yep.
Going to the final fixture. So really, the big thing is, Yemen can either qualify, be the dud, or get knocked out.
Fiji can qualify or be the dud, so they will be in the Global Trophy finals. It's just whether they'll be able to compete or not. And Tahiti could get the dud.
Yemen are essentially the protagonists in this final fixture here.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. Philippines, Afghanistan here. Winner takes second, I guess, possibly.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's a draw between the two, so Kuwait can still get second.
No, Kuwait can get third, yeah. There you go.
They can only get third. So, yeah, Afghanistan takes second.
Good for them.
Which means Malaysia get first, obviously.
Hey, of course.
So, doesn't really matter for New Caledonia. They're going to finish in 5th, but 5-0 win is not bad. Oh, Fiji.
Oh, Fiji.
They've got Kuwait. They could, if they could snag a draw here, that's enough.
It is, yeah.
Nope, they don't. 4-0 win. Kuwait have solidified 3rd, which means that Philippines solidify 4th.
5th for
Yemen's got Hong Kong.
This is a big match. Hong Kong can win games, and if they don't win Yemen, it's not enough. They must beat Hong Kong.
Yeah, but if they beat Hong Kong, they've done it. Doesn't matter about goal difference, they've done it. Because they've got 18 more in the goal difference tally already than Fiji. They need to win. They have. Fiji are the dud.
Oh, the heartbreak for Fiji, but it has been a good run for Yemen. They just about squeak it through.
Yeah, which means that no Oceania team has made it, bar the 2 that made it last year.
Yeah, New Zealand, and I think Fiji was the dud team last year as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Malaysia, Vanuatu next. Vanuatu, who lost to the pissin Maldives.
Yeah, they could
get shit on.
94 goals for Malaysia. Not quite the magical 100, but a good effort.
Yeah, definitely. Chinese Taipei has got the Maldives. What a brilliant last match to have, but
not quite enough.
Just not enough. 2-1.
And Tahiti can go just 9th. Doesn't really get them anything, but maybe pride against Myanmar for the last game.
Myanmar will be sick. Oh, well, Tahiti get a win and or a draw and move up into 9th over Chinese Taipei.
And Singapore, are they gonna? They're gonna overtake?
They moved above Solomon Islands.
Oh my goodness! Unbelievable.
Singapore move above Solomon Islands, and if it wasn't for their crap goal difference, they could have moved above Hong Kong.
Wow. I mean, what a crazy, crazy preliminary league this has been.
Yeah, I mean, first off, the intense battle for 16th that didn't involve the dud team.
Yeah, the race to the bottom was intense.
The race to the bottom, 2 records broken.
They all got a win, didn't they, as well? Like, not just against the Dud, they all got a win.
Yeah, they all got a proper win as well.
Fantastic. Well, that's the end.
Yeah, let's roll through them, shall we? 15th place is Maldives, of course.
Scored 9, conceded 77.
Minus 68 goal difference. It didn't start amazingly well after that 12-0 loss. That, at the time, record-breaking 12-0 loss to Malaysia. They finished on 6 points. So that means that some poor sod actually lost to them.
It was Vanuatu. Yeah.
14th place with 8 points. The second highest ranked team in the preliminaries. The Solomon Islands.
I hope we get to see them in the qualifiers. I hope they get like Iran or Australia or Saudi Arabia or something like that.
Oh, I hope they get like one of the bigger teams. They get like
It'd be amazing,
Japan or
wouldn't it?
something.
Be great.
Yeah. Next up, 13th place with 10 points, Singapore.
Yep, 3 wins in the end.
Yeah, and well, minus 37 goal difference. It's a bit better than minus 55, minus 68.
Yeah, absolutely. But, 10 points is, I'd say, almost respectable.
Yeah. 12th place with 10 points is Hong Kong.
Again, but they only won 2 games, and one of those was against Papua New Guinea, so they only won 1 other game. They just got 3 or 4 lucky draws.
Yeah, pretty decent draws there. 11th place is the team that Maldives killed. With 12 points, it's Vanuatu.
And somehow they beat, they beat 3 other teams. How? And
then
one of them wasn't Maldives.
And then Maldives stood on their knackers. It was great. Great
dear.
fun. Next up, big jump in quality here. 20 points in 10th. Chinese Taipei.
Not a bad effort for Chinese Taipei. I think a decent run. Just didn't score enough goals. And, at the end of the day, they end up with minus 11 goal difference, which isn't as embarrassing as some of the teams below them, but solid showing.
This, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we mean by not as embarrassing, just in case anyone was wondering. Next up, in 9th place with 20 points, Tahiti. Positive goal difference from them.
I know, very respectable. Tahiti started well, faded quite quickly.
Yeah, but they kind of sort of stayed in it, I guess, but just very much rank outsiders.
Yes.
8th place. God damn it. You were our hope for an Oceania. Technically, you are going to be the 3rd Oceania team in the Asia-Oceania qualifiers, but god damn it, Fiji. You can't let in goals.
Yeah, I mean, it was just unfortunate they had Kuwait as their final game. I mean, it's just unlucky, isn't it? They were so close, but just not meant to be.
Yep, 19 goals separated them from 7th. In 23rd place, the first team who will actually be able to qualify and actually have a chance at this for the Asia-Oceania qualifiers, Yemen.
Yeah, I think those big wins, I think they won 7-1 at one point, Yemen, so, big results like that really, really propelled them and gave them that good goal difference, didn't it?
Yep, definitely, and it essentially became a 3-dog fight at the end. And Yemen were the ones that were able to come out on top. We said they were the protagonists of the in the last fixture, and as the protagonist mostly does, they win.
Yep.
It's probably an anime then. Next up, 6th place with 27, it's Myanmar.
Good effort from Myanmar, I think. Qualifications secured fairly quickly. Yeah, what can you say?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of fixtures where Myanmar were on very shaky ground. They were kind of in there with Fiji and Yemen, but they were able to start to pull away at the end there, which solidified them 6th.
Yeah.
Next up, in 5th place with 33 points, it's the Dominican Republic, representing New Caledonia, who have made it to the qualifiers this year.
Yeah, well done to them, and we'll see them in a couple of weeks' time for the Asia qualifiers. I wonder how they'll fare with the bigger teams of Asia.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, not that far ahead, actually, if you look at it, from New Caledonia, even though they were always in with a shout at some point. 4th place with 35, Philippines.
good effort from Philippines. And yeah, one of the bigger teams in this section, but I mean, the plus 46 goal difference says all it needs to know, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, highest ranked team in the Asia-Oceania Preliminaries. So I'd say they've done pretty decently.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
In third place with 37, it's Kuwait.
Yeah, I mean, again, they only conceded 4 goals. They did lose twice. So that was a bit concerning for them. Obviously, one of those was against Malaysia. Only 4 goals conceded, 49 goal difference. Can't really complain, can you?
Yeah, exactly. Next up, second place with 38, it's Afghanistan.
Yep, 12 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat, 48 goal difference. Solid enough for Afghanistan. Only defeat coming to the winners of the league. Which, I mean, let's talk about them, shall we?
Yes, the winners with a perfect 45 points, a plus 92 goal difference. Former Asian and Oceanic Qualifier champions. Who could have seen this one coming? It's Malaysia.
Yeah, I think the golfing class is very apparent here, isn't it? Malaysia dominating, and yeah, they scored 94 and conceded 2. So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, after 15 matches, there's not many leagues, even in real football, that you'd actually see that happen. Bar the Arsenal women team from about 15 years back when they just killed everyone on the football field, and they used to win like 6 or 7-0 a game back in the day.
Phenomenal performance, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see Malaysia maybe even competing for the qualifiers trophy itself.
Yep, or in the Global Trophy finals. They've done it before, they could certainly do it again.
Absolutely.
But with that, folks, ends another very interesting week of Global Trophy action. Malaysia, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Philippines, New Caledonia being represented by the Dominican Republic, Myanmar, Yemen, and Fiji, who will be the dud team, will join the Asia section and Oceania sections, Australia and New Zealand, greatest teams in a battle where 3/4 of them will be eliminated for a chance at glory, a trophy, and then a chance at an even bigger trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'll be interesting to see if any of them can actually qualify as well, because these teams, the average, the difference between the qualifiers and the preliminaries for Asia is very close, I'd say, relative to like Europe or something like that. Malaysia and Afghanistan in particular could genuinely qualify for the finals, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'd lump Kuwait and Philippines into that as well, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how teams like Myanmar, Yemen, and New Caledonia do, to be fair, as well.
Absolutely.
But with that, folks, we are done with another week of Global Trophy, and we'll see you next week for the African Preliminaries, including brilliant teams like Rwanda, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, the one that you have to pronounce it like you're French or people think you're racist. Malawi.
We'll see you for that next week.
Sorry, it's Niger.
Niger, yeah.
And obviously being headlined by big teams like Kenya and the highest ranking team in the preliminaries, Madagascar.
Interesting.
Very interesting. We'll see you next week.